Imagine this. You're walking through your backyard, and suddenly, a giant hand, 20 times your size, wraps around your entire body. You can't move your arms. You can't run. Your heart starts slamming so hard you can hear it in your own ears. And here's the terrifying part. Your body doesn't know this giant just wants to help you. Your body thinks you are about to die. This is what happens to a bird every single time a human catches it. And what happens next inside that tiny body is stranger, more dangerous, and more fascinating than almost anyone realizes. So here's the problem. Birds are built for one thing above almost everything else: escape. Their entire bodies are a getaway machine. Hollow bones, massive flight muscles, a heart that can beat over 1,000 times a minute in the smallest species. All of that exists for a single purpose: to be somewhere else, fast, the moment danger shows up. Now take that getaway machine and remove its only tool. No wings to use, no sky to disappear into, just two enormous fingers closing around its ribs. You might think, okay, it's scared. It'll calm down once it realizes it's safe. But here's the part that surprises almost everyone. A bird's brain has no concept of safe hands. As far as its nervous system is concerned, being grabbed by a person is functionally identical to being grabbed by a hawk. There is no separate category in its brain for well-meaning wildlife rescuer. There's only one category: predator. So the moment you close your hand around a bird, you trigger the same ancient alarm system that's been running in animals for millions of years. Stress hormones flood the bloodstream: adrenaline, corticosterone. The heart rate spikes even higher than its already absurd baseline. Breathing goes fast and shallow. Every system in the body redirects towards one goal: survive the next 10 seconds. But this wasn't even the biggest problem. Here's where it gets genuinely dangerous, and it's something most people who've ever picked up an injured bird have never heard of. It's called capture myopathy, and it can kill a bird hours or even days after it's been caught, even if you did everything right. Think of it like this. Imagine sprinting at full speed for as long as you possibly can, except you can never stop, and your muscles never get the signal to slow down. In a bird held too long or handled too roughly or simply too stressed, the muscles can literally start to break down from the inside. They produce so much lactic acid and stress byproduct that the muscle tissue itself starts to die. The bird can be released, fly off looking totally fine, and then collapse later from organ damage caused entirely by how terrified it was during those few minutes in your hands. Let that sink in. The danger isn't just the moment of capture. The danger is what the fear itself does to the body, long after the hand has opened and the bird has flown away. And here's the part nobody talks about. This is exactly why professionals who handle birds for a living, wildlife rehabbers, bird banders, researchers, treat every single second of contact like it's a ticking clock. They're not being overly careful for fun. They know that stress is quite literally one of the most lethal things you can do to a bird, even without touching a single feather the wrong way. So how do humans actually solve this? How do you catch a bird, examine it, treat it, or move it without accidentally stress-killing the very animal you're trying to help? The answer is a strange mix of physics, psychology, and something that looks almost like a magic trick. First, darkness. Cover a bird's head or hold it in a dark cloth bag and something remarkable happens. Its whole nervous system calms down. Scientists think it's because birds rely so heavily on vision to judge threats that removing sight essentially removes the predator from its world. No visual threat, no active emergency. This is why falconers hood their birds. It's not a fashion statement, it's a stress switch. Second, the grip itself matters enormously. You want to hold a bird firm enough that it cannot flap, but loosely enough that its chest can still expand. Why? Because unlike you, a bird's lungs don't work by a ribcage expanding and contracting the way yours does. Birds breathe using air sacs that push air through their lungs in a one-way loop. Genuinely one of the most efficient breathing systems in the entire animal kingdom. But that system only works if the chest can move. Squeeze a bird too tightly around its body and you're not just scaring it, you can actually suffocate it in seconds, even while it's flapping and seemingly very much alive. Third, speed. Every extra second a bird spends restrained is a second its stress hormones climb higher. Professionals aim to get in, do what needs doing, a health check, a band on the leg, a photo for research, and get out in under a minute whenever possible. It's the wildlife equivalent of a pit stop crew. Fast, precise, no wasted movement. Now, here's a surprising fact that flips the whole story. You'd think the biggest danger is a bird panicking and thrashing itself to injury. Sometimes that happens, but researchers have found something almost the opposite is just as concerning. Birds that go completely, eerily still. This isn't calm. This is a state called tonic immobility, and you may already know a version of it from a very different animal, when an opossum plays dead. Many birds do something similar. Held upside down or restrained a certain way, a bird can enter a trance-like freeze, heart still racing internally, body outwardly motionless. For decades, some handlers mistook this stillness for the bird being relaxed. It isn't. It's often the most extreme stress response of all.
the nervous system essentially deciding that fighting is pointless, so it shuts the body down as a last resort survival strategy. Predators in the wild are less interested in prey that appears already dead. It's a final, desperate vet. Things get even stranger with baby birds. If you've ever found a fluffy baby bird on the ground and worried it fell from the nest, here's a twist. Most of the time, it didn't fall. It's called a fledgling, and this awkward, barely flighted stage is a completely normal part of growing up. It's supposed to be on the ground, hopping around clumsily while its parents watch from nearby trees and continue feeding it. The single worst thing you can do, with the best intentions, is scoop it up and take it home. Why? Because here's a fact that changes how you should think about every rescued baby animal story you've seen online. Young birds imprint. If a baby bird spends its critical early days being fed and cared for by a human instead of its parents, it can permanently bond to humans as its species. It may never learn proper bird behavior, never learn to fear real predators correctly, and in some cases may never be able to survive or reproduce successfully in the wild again. The kindest looking action, bringing a baby bird inside to keep it warm and safe, can be the exact thing that ruins its entire life. The real reason this matters may surprise you. Most rescues aren't actually rescues at all. Wildlife experts estimate that a huge percentage of baby birds saved by well-meaning people were never in danger to begin with. The parents were there the whole time, just waiting for the human to leave. So what do modern people consistently get wrong? They think stillness means calm. It often means terror. They think a bird on the ground is abandoned. It's usually being watched. They think holding a bird gently for a few extra minutes to comfort it is kind. Every extra second raises real physiological risk. They think if a bird flies away after being caught, it's fine. Sometimes the damage from the stress response doesn't show up for hours. And maybe the biggest one, they think a bird calming its behavior means its body is calmed down too. But a bird can look outwardly composed while its hunt is still hammering at triple its resting rate, its stress hormones still spiking, its body still running on pure emergency fuel, whether it looks like it or not. We spend so much time trying to read fear on the outside, but sometimes the most important things are happening somewhere we can't see at all. So the next time you see a bird sitting calmly in someone's hands, or you're the one holding it, remember what's actually happening underneath those feathers. A heart racing faster than any human heart ever could, a brain convinced it's about to die, a body running on pure survival chemistry, whether it looks like it or not.